Hello and welcome to another video and podcast from Fantasy Football Scout as we look ahead to the final game week of the season. Just who is the best captain to pick? A lot will depend on where you are in the rankings and play in mini leagues as well. Do you need a differential or do you need to play it safe? What we'll do is go through the main options with the focus on the likely most popular to consider. So for many that's going to be Haaland. That's going to be Haaland in most weeks. Game week 38 is a little bit different because you've got things like ownership really do come into it in terms of where you want to be in the rankings, as well as what your rivals are going for. So if all your rivals are going for Haaland and they're above you, you might want to be a bit different. So that's why game week 38 is a little bit different, a little bit special. Lots of narratives going on as well. And yeah, well, all those narratives in the matches themselves. Have teams got anything to play for? Is it a manager's final game in the case of Klopp at Liverpool? So obviously, Haaland is probably will be the most popular, but there are others to consider, and that's why we're doing this video. Palmer as well, Salah, Saka. There's a lot of options to consider. So lots of interesting choices, I think. So we'll look at some of the defence stats for their opponents. We'll consider some more differential options as well. Before we do that, just a reminder, do press that like button. It does help us out. And also do remember to subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And also subscribe on our YouTube channel as well. So keep up to date with our latest videos and podcasts. Okay, let's have a look at some away form. So what I'm doing is I put the fixtures up on the screen for those listening to the podcast version. I've got the fixtures up on the screen with a sorted by difficulty with a heavy bias on home fixtures. So I really like, in terms of selecting a captain, for me personally, I think go for the home team and something with perhaps something to play for. And also a very favourable fixture as well. So alongside that, I've also got a table of worst away defences in the last 6. So their last 6 away games, just how poor have they been. So this shows that in terms of the fixtures, Man City at home to West Ham, Haaland, great. Arsenal at home to Everton, Saka, pretty great. Liverpool at home to Wolves, Salah, pretty great. Chelsea at home to Bournemouth, Palmer, pretty great. Brighton at home to Manchester United, well, you can be different there and go for Gross or Pedro maybe. Tottenham away to Sheffield United, let's not discount what Tottenham, they've been okay, patchy, but okay. So they're in consideration. Luna home to Fulham as well. You're starting to get into differential territory, so we'll sort of stop there. So let's have a look at the away defences. Who are the worst? So in terms of, say, for example, so we're looking down the list. So Man City at home to West Ham. Haaland's going to be really popular. West Ham got no clean sheets in their last 6 away games. Okay, that's favourable. Their expected goals conceded is 8. They've in fact conceded 9. However, so if you want to pick Salah, for example, Liverpool's home game against Wolves away, not as good. So they've conceded 10 goals. Their expected goals conceded is 10 as well. No clean sheets. Okay, so that would sort of favour slightly marginally Salah. Then you look at Bournemouth as well. And because they face Chelsea, so you'd be thinking, oh, should we captain Palmer as well? Well, Bournemouth, actually, the defence is better than West Ham's away. 2 clean sheets on the road. I know they haven't played Man City. They haven't played Chelsea or attacking side with something to play for in that period. They have, but for the point of view of this, West Ham statistically last away slightly better. Slightly worse, than Bournemouth. So Bournemouth are a really good sides. They're one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're the 5th best side in terms of away defences last 6. That's a much simpler way of saying it. Their goals conceded is 8. Their expected goals conceded is 7. And as I said, 2 clean sheets. So that sort of marginally puts me off Palmer. But I think there's going to be goals in this one. I think Chelsea can score. I think Bournemouth are going to score as well. So who else to consider? So Saka, for example, might be a consideration. So Arsenal at home to Everton. So where Everton on the list? Well, they're also better as a defensive unit away from home than West Ham. So they've actually only conceded 3 goals very tight. 5 clean sheets. I'm not sure. I have double checked this because I can scarcely believe it. But Everton actually been quite good. They've been lucky though. Expected goals conceded is getting on for nearly 7, 6.8. So that indicates that they perhaps have been a little bit lucky. So it slightly puts me off Arsenal for the captaincy. I still think Salah at home to Wolves. And I do like Haaland at home to West Ham, and Palmer against Bournemouth. Those Bournemouth stats do put me off. Another option to transfer in, but to captain as well. Elise or Eze at Crystal Palace. They're at home to Aston Villa, and Aston Villa, well, they're pretty poor defence. They've conceded 13 goals in their last 6 away games. They've been unlucky. Their expected goals conceded is 9.7. They have kept a clean sheet on the road, but I think that does indicate, especially given the narrative of this, Aston Villa, a secure 4th place. They can't go down, they can't go up. There's nothing they've done. So it's a complete dead rubber game. So they don't even have that sort of playing fair. If Crystal Palace were threatened with relegation, that kind of thing, so they can rotate a bit. They could leave some more gaps in their defence. You never know. So yeah, they're the opponents there. So let's have a look at the top 3 options. And these are the top 3 I think in general, and I also think in popularity. So whilst amongst these, I've got Palmer, Haaland and Salah. But for Salah, his percentage ownership is only 23.2%, but that will go up. So if you are thinking of captaining Salah or getting Salah in and captaining him this week, bear in mind that if you're doing that because he's a differential, he won't be 100% owned, but he will be more owned than this. He will have more owners there. So just bear that in mind as well. Nevertheless, as well, perhaps in your mini leagues, you might know that the only way your opponents can get to him is through a hit, and if you can get him for free, that could be an opportunity for you. Okay, well, let's start comparing them. So we got Palmer first. Let's take him first because I've got their prices. The last 6 home games, all of them play at home. Their percentage ownership, and obviously who they're facing. So yeah, Palmer 6.3, unbelievably cheap still. Last 6 home games, an eye-popping 88. So that's 11 goals and some assists as well. That's huge. But as we saw, Bournemouth are their defence is okay. It's pretty good. Therefore, whilst they might concede, they might not concede loads. I don't know. I mean, it's the last game as well. Chelsea have got a European place to play for. So anyway, percentage ownership 51%. So amongst engaged managers, that's far greater. So what you're going to see there is Palmer most weeks now, his ownership, because effective ownership, you count the captaincy, he will be popular. So he's currently around my rank, so I'm about 20,000 in the rankings. And in my rank, he is usually about 100 to 110% owned. So I pretty much lose out or get nothing, whatever he does. So he's like a sort of a blank player, but you can't go without him. So in terms of ownership, him and Haaland are fairly similar in that, if you don't captain him, you're probably going to lose out on points. But anyway, he's the best out of these 3 in terms of the last 6 home games. Haaland, 14.3 million. He's going to be in pretty much all teams. He's in 73% of teams. I have not seen a team without him around me in the rankings or in my mini leagues anywhere. So he's going to be enormously owned and heavily captained. His captaincy in recent weeks, effective ownership around my rank has usually been somewhere around 150 to 108. And I think it was in the double game week. I think it was around about 180, 190. So you're not getting much there. So the Palmer and Haaland, I think if you captain Palmer, you're betting against Haaland failing. Will he? But if you're captaining Haaland, you're not going to get much rank gain there. If you captain elsewhere, once again, you're betting against Haaland, but the gains could be better, particularly if they're very, very low owned. So Haaland, anyway, last 6 home matches, 49 points, not too shabby. Not Palmer, but not too shabby. He's in 73% teams, and of course he's got that home match against West Ham and 14.3 million. I'll probably go there because where I am in the rankings, I think top 10,000 is too far to go. I can't fall much down. I don't see tremendous amount of difference between 11, well, outside the top 10k and under 25k, for example. So I kind of like to get a top 25k finish maybe, and that'll be my. I don't know. The fact I don't know is because I don't really look at. I look at that. I look at top 10k. How many of those finishes, or top 1k or 5k, top 100k, and the bit in the middle. It's like your age. I'm whatever I am, my age. But I remember being 18, 21, and I'll remember when I'm like hit 60 or something like that, or 70. You remember those sort of ages, but the bits in the middle in your 30s, 40s, and maybe 50s, you sort of forget. Okay. And the last one is Salah, 13.4 million. Last 6 home games, less 40 points he's got there. He's in 23.2% of teams. That's probably, I would say, actually lower amongst engaged managers because they wouldn't have got him in during the last double game week. So people are going to want to get him in. So I think his percentage ownership could be. So I'm trying to guess it. I reckon overall it could get up to about 30 tops. Amongst engaged managers, up to about 20%. So if you are going to captain him, and say Salah gets a brace bonus, 13, 14, 15 points, something like that. So you're getting 30 point score there. You're getting, say, 4/5 of that into your rank. That's a huge rank gain. But if Haaland, you're missing out on probably 80% worth of Haaland. So you might completely negate that. So perhaps the play is to captain Haaland and get Salah in. Maybe that's something to consider. But you would get a huge rank gain if Salah goes off, which he could. Klopp's last game, the narrative is there. I mean, I think all sorts of content creators are into that because content creators are into narratives. They're creating content. They're creating stories. And so the story here is Salah scores a hatful on Klopp's last game at home for Liverpool. That's the story. That's what people want. But, will it happen? It's up to you. Who will you captain? I think these are the 3 big ones. These Salah won't be in teams, but it's a question of whether you get him in. There are other options, though. And let's have a look at them. So what I've got here is I've got a table of last 6 home matches, everyone. Well, not everyone. I've sorted by minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty. Salah's at the top. Every 68 minutes he is he's expected to have a goal involvement, and he's underperforming. But we'll come to that in a sec. Right the way down to Havertz at the bottom of this list. The fact that he's bottom of this list, do not in any way think, oh, you're bottom of this list. Oh, Havertz is no good. This list is brilliant. Every single one of these players, bar maybe one, but we'll come to him in a minute, a certain Liverpool striker, are probably captainable. They could all haul. Okay, so at the top here, as I said, is Salah. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 68 minutes. His last 6 home matches have 4 goals and 3 assists. That's 7 goal involvements. His expected goal involvement delta, so this is the difference between what he actually scored and his expected scoring rate, is -2. So he should have had at least 2 more goal involvements than he has. As I said, he's in 23.3% teams, created 15 chances. He hasn't been benched, but I suspect he'll start this one. And 40 FPL points. I mean, these stats say that Salah's still the best one to get in. I think he is the one for the chasers. So if you're somewhere like, so you want to get in the top 10k, you're somewhere around sort of 15k, Salah would be the captain I would go for. I'm just a little bit shy of that. I don't think I'm going to get enough gain from that. Say you're 110 or I don't know. Yeah, you're 100 and you're just outside the top 100k, 110k, something like that. Then I think Salah could be your one, because I don't think you're going to get enough of a rank gain by captaining Haaland, sorry. So Salah, I think the one there. Next up is Haaland. Not too shabby. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 80 minutes. Bearing in mind Salah and Haaland and Palmer and Saka on this list, top 4 on this list, are all penalty takers. Haaland, 49 points, 7 goals and an assist. He has been underperforming by nearly 2 goal involvements. And as I said, it's in 73% of teams. 5 chances created. Strong option. We've spoken about him. Palmer, another one we've spoken about. 11 goals, 2 assists. Wowzers for the last 6 home matches. Started every game. FPL points 88, which is double virtually everyone else. He's been overperforming as you expect. That's huge by 2.5 goal involvements. He's in half the teams and he's created 22 chances. Wow. Saka, not to be ignored. He's probably the player I'm going to get in for Bruno Fernandes. But something about it, I don't feel confident enough to captain him. 3 goals and an assist. It's not as strong as the others. 39 FPL points. Minutes per expected goal involvement every 106 minutes. His minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalties, every 82 minutes, just behind Haaland. So then there's a bit of a gap, sort of a 20-minute gap. And then Saka's there. He's got an assist. He's been underperforming by about 1.5 goal involvements in half teams like Palmer is. 17 chances created. So he's a strong option, but I don't think he's as good as those top 3. You're starting to get some differentials now. Virtually everyone here, apart from Foden, that I'm going to mention, is quite low owned and would be great as a differential captain. Diaz at Liverpool, 2 goals and an assist. 29 FPL points his last 6 home matches. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 107 minutes, just below Saka. He's in only 1 in 10 teams. He's been underperforming by 1.5 goal involvements as well. 13 chances created, a strong option. Jota has been seen in training. When Jota plays, he tends to get points. 4 goals and 2 assists. Only 4 starts in his last 6 home matches, so he can be a sub. But it does make me think, will he start? He's going to get minutes. I think all of Klopp's players that are fit to play will play at some point. Obviously with substitutions allowing. But I can't imagine Jota won't get significant minutes either as a sub or to start this game, which could mean that there could be limited minutes for some of the attackers. So he's got 4 goals, 4 starts, 2 assists. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, just below Diaz. 108 minutes, 8 chances created. He's just in 2.4% of teams. What a differential he would be. Elise, he's going to be popular to bring in. Could be popular with a captain. I'd be tempted if I brought him in to captain him because he's such a differential. It's going to be more widely owned than this, but obviously I don't think it's going to be like 100% or anything. So he's got 6 goals and 3 assists, so 9 attacking returns in his last 6 home matches. 61 FPL points. That's second only to Palmer in this list. So that's how strong he is. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, every 108 minutes. He's been overperforming by getting on for nearly 6. So there's your stat there. If you think about overperformance, Elise's your man. It's absolutely huge. Him and Palmer with 2.5 goal involvements is expected over what he got. 5.81. Wow, that's huge in terms of what he should have got. 2.7% of teams. It's against the Villa backline as well, though, who've cemented 4th, 11 chances created. Eze is on a par with him, I would say. In minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, it's every 108 minutes as well. He's been underperforming only marginally. He's pretty much par what he should be doing with his 3 goals and 1 assist. 34 points, 13 chances created. He's in only 5% of teams, another strong differential. Darwin Núñez, he's the only one on here that I wouldn't even entertain captaining or even looking at. But if you get a leak that he's going to be on the team sheet, playing up front for Liverpool, Klopp's final game, that's going to be tempting. He's in 12% of teams still. 2 goals and an assist. I've owned him twice this season. I've hated pretty much every second of it, apart from like an assist he got me or something like that. So I'm personally not going to go there. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty, for those that do, is every 112 minutes. Just below him is Phil Foden. He is 8.5 million. So if he's not in your team, I'd like him for this one. 5 goals and an assist. He's going to start. I mean, he's had 6 starts in his last home match. He's not coming on as a sub. FPL points 48, pretty good. He's been overperforming by 1.72 goal involvements. He's in 42.4% of teams, and that's sort of the crunch. Really, is that you're not getting. He's going to be much more heavily owned in more engaged managers' sides. So unless you captain him, you're not going to get much out of him, but you're betting against Haaland not getting a good return. I think a lot will depend on whether De Bruyne is playing or not. So that would mean Foden much more central, which could mean Foden gets a lot of points in this game. So yeah, I don't dislike that at all. 12 chances created, by the way. And last on this is Havertz, who's going to be another popular player to bring in. He's in 9.2% teams currently. That's going to go up. And amongst engaged managers, that's going to go up. Probably going to be in about a third of engaged managers' teams, maybe. I mean, tops or fifth. It's going to be a significant minority, but nevertheless a differential. If you get him in and captain him, he could be quite good if you're chasing particular. 4 goals and 3 assists. I'm facing a decision whether to get Saka or Havertz in. I think I've got my mind set on a Arsenal midfielder. And it's going to be between Havertz and Saka, and I still don't know. I think they're both great. 6 starts, 46 FPL points in his last 6 home matches. Minutes per expected goal involvement, non-penalty every 117.8 minutes. So that's just behind Saka. Saka's on penalties as well. So in terms of expected goal involvement, it's not as good as Saka, but it's a very strong option. As I said, pretty much all of this list I would love to get in my side. You can't, because you can't get that many attackers in. And I would pretty much captain any of them apart from Darwin if I heard that they were starting. And some of them you pretty much know. You know Salah, Haaland, Palmer, Saka. These guys are going to play. I say that ahead. I'm recording this ahead of team news, though. So if you're getting team news that any of these are injured, obviously take any of that into account. It doesn't negate what I'm saying here. So if you find out, I don't know, one of these players is injured, obviously forget what I'm saying about them and look at those other options. That's why I've got so many options here as well. So good luck with your final captaincy decision. Thanks so much for watching all the videos and podcasts this season. I'll be back. I'll be here today, depending on when you're watching this. Hopefully you can watch this over the weekend, just ahead of Game Week 38, because the deadline's on Sunday. But I'll also be on the videos for team news on Friday afternoon with Neil. So do stay tuned for that and all the other rest of the content that we've got going up to Game Week 38, and our content during the summer as well. Euros, lots of Euros coverage. So do stay tuned for that. Thanks a lot. Take care. See you soon.